Liverpool 5, Watford 0, away game. Roberto Firmino with a hat trick. It seems like every time Roma opens his mouth about a Liverpool player, they just get fixed. But talk me through your performance yesterday, bro.
Most complete of the season. Everything about it was just perfect. Goal within the first 10 minutes. I mean, it was coming as well. It wasn't even like a surprise. We could have been 2-0 up before the first goal even happened from the first whistle. I was a bit worried as well. Obviously, we was missing a couple of players. You thought they might have that new manager like boost, but it just wasn't there. We were just clinical from start to finish. Got the job done.
I mean, with a manager like Ranieri as well, I thought they would have done a bit better. But to me, that just goes to show that the players that are at that club just not at the Premier League standard. I mean, no disrespect to any professional player when I say things like this, but for goodness sake, you've got Tom Cleverley as one of your main guys in the midfield, bro. And that should just say it all. But nonetheless, I ain't trying to take away from your performance because there are two interesting records that happened yesterday. First of all, Sadio Mane became the third African player to score 100 Premier League goals. So well done to Mane, and we have to give his teammate Mo Salah some props for that ball that he played to him outside of his foot. And the thing is, as well, he didn't have to break stride.
No.
And so if you you're a striker, you play football. When you don't have to break stride, it's just perfect for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Well done, Mane, for doing that.
No penalties either.
No penalties either. Exactly. No penalties either. Now, this is a record that breaks my heart to even read it. I want to cry when I read this. Salah's goal takes him level with former Chelsea striker Didier Drogba as the highest scoring African player in Premier League history with 104 goals. If I have any Chelsea fans living in Liverpool, T-Dot's a Chelsea fan. Please, please, please kneecap Salah so he cannot break Drogba's record. We cannot have that. We can't have that. But boy, listen, Dec, I'm going to say it before you say it. Mo Salah is the best player in the world at the minute. I can't
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. He's the best I've seen him, without a shadow of a doubt. He's scoring at a better rate at the moment than that first season, the record-breaking season. And the goals have always been there. You know, Salah is a guaranteed 20-plus goal a season player at the base, nothing else. But his game every season just seems to have got better and better. Even like last season when we were poor for most parts, he stood out. He was still incredible himself. And this season, he just seems to have it's taking his game to the next level. But I think the thing is now, you know, it's coming every single game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's in that. I think that's 8. It might even be 9 games in a row now. He scored in every game bar the Burnley game, which he had one disallowed in as well, which was a tight VAR decision. So he's virtually scored in every single game. It just feels like he will score in every game, whether we're struggling, whether we're flying. If we're flying, it's guaranteed. If we're struggling, like the Man City game, he's just going to pull out a bit of magic and do it by himself if he needs to. He's just it's the closest thing I've seen to Messi in his pomp, in terms of the play style, the things he's doing, the magic he's creating, the all-round game that he's bringing. It's the closest thing I've seen.
The goal that he scored, I don't have to even tell you which one. Everyone knows which goal I'm talking about. I think that furthermore proves your point, because even just the way he scored the goal, the little touches that he takes and the little quick sudden movements that Messi takes as well, just to find that space in a place where he had no right finding it, by the way, and then just picking his spot. That very much did remind me of a bit of Leo right there.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, I do think Salah's been taken a look at Messi, bro. Been taking 1 or 2 pointers from him, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's one of the greatest, to some, the greatest football player to ever play the game. And you can see in both their stature, even the way how Salah dribbles, there's a similarity there. But it seems to be working out for him. That's not taken away from him at all. January. Are you worried about that January period where he has to go and play with Egypt? Now, granted, Egypt are not one of the favorites to go the deepest into the tournament, so that will work into your favor. But based on that, how do you feel going into January without Salah potentially throughout the whole month?
I mean, obviously, it's not just him either. It's Mane and Naby Keita. But it's not too many games. I think it's 3 Premier League games. And
if I remember correctly, the only difficult game is your first game of January. That's going to be against us, and you're going to have your team selection there anyway. So I think you're gonna get through that.
I remember thinking they're not worrying fixtures. There's no like big 6 games or anything like that they missed. Obviously, missing those two guys is you're always going to miss them. You know what I mean? Every team in the world would miss Salah if he's not playing. But if Bobby can continue the form he's in, if Jota picks up a bit of form between now and then, which is more than feasible the way he's played for us, those two, Minamino's actually looked bright in a couple of little appearances he's had. So I think we'll be all right. If we've got a bit of momentum going over Christmas as well, I think that can carry you through a few games anyway. So I think we'll be all right. Obviously, it's not nice, but it is what it is, isn't it?
I mean, this away result means that Liverpool have scored 3 goals or more in all 6 of your away games in the competition so far. No other English side hasn't managed that. Do you know what I mean? Up until now, you're the only team with that record. And it's also extended your unbeaten start to this season, but it's keeping you second in the table at the minute, obviously behind Chelsea. But with the rate that you lot are scoring, and what alarms me the most as well is when you start to keep clean sheets. It's Liverpool look like they're going to be very difficult to stop in a run-in for this title. Now, I still strongly believe that we will be your closest competitors. Yes, we do look kind of shaky with some of the football that we've been playing, but there's reasons for that. A lot of criticism for the Brentford performances, but you got to remember we had 4 of our main leaders out of that team.
Well, you saw like from we played them a few weeks ago. It's not gonna. Obviously, you lot was taking the piss a little bit in the group chat when I said, bar City and Chelsea, Brentford is easily the most difficult game we played this season. Yeah, and we played like what you would class as better teams. But yeah, to what you said about like the clean sheets and stuff as well, I think that Brentford game kind of tricked everyone a little bit in the sense of, aside from the AC Milan, those 2 goals we conceded in short spell. But other than that, we've kept clean sheets against everyone bar you and City in the league. You know what I mean? That's the only time we've conceded more than 1 goal in a game. So we've only conceded 5 in the league this season, I believe. And we're scoring at will. So it kind of feels like that 17-18 season where we didn't win anything, but Salah got the record and we scored 100 plus goals, the most we've scored in a season, I think, under Klopp, maybe apart from when we won the league. But in terms of like the free-flowing attack, that's the season everyone looks at to us and says like that's where they were sort of electric, the rock and roll football Klopp was talking about. But coupled with the defence of the couple of seasons you saw after, like when we won the league and we just shored everything up and it was a bit more reserved, it's sort of all come together and it feels like we're the most complete we've ever been under Klopp. And to see what we've achieved before now, that's got to be a scary sight for the other teams in the league.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. And I'm talking as one of the fans who's hoping to beat you to the title this year, and it definitely is. Speaking of the Premier League, your next fixture is Manchester United away. They are in, to say dismal form is an understatement. They are in absolute shocking shit form right now. But this is the one thing I always say about Manchester United. When they're playing Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, don't look at the previous results because it's a different beast that turns up, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer somehow gets his flowers again after every one of these games. So I'm going in there with the respect that Liverpool are by far the better team. Going forward, defensively, in every single aspect, you are the better team. But I'm also going there with the old school saying of never write off Manchester United.
Oh,
So
definitely not.
I say that to say this. How do you feel about going into that game?
As confident as I can be. Like you say, it's a derby as well. It's not just a big six game. Where,
Yeah,
like the big six
absolutely.
games, you kind of feel like you can write the form off as well. Obviously, look at the way Arsenal have been, but everyone still classes it as like a big game. You kind of take your form out of the window for that, and you do that twice as much when it's a derby. And obviously our two derbies are Everton and United. So form means nothing in this game. Obviously, momentum and stuff helps. We're not going into the game with like any doubt. United are going to go in a bit nervous. Oh, yo, shit, they've just smashed 5 past Watford. We're playing against Salah, who everyone's lauding as the best player in the world. Obviously, they're going to go in with that. But it doesn't mean anything. Like you say, anything can happen in these games. We have got the better of them recently, which makes me feel a bit more confident. We had a poor record against them for quite a while, but we've got the better of them the last few times. I think the last time we played them at Old Trafford and we dominated them. It was in the last 10 games of last season. I think we beat them 4-1. We absolutely dominated them. So I'm feeling as confident as I can. But like you say, you just never know. It's one of them games that's bigger than just 3 points, it feels like.
And also another thing as well is that what Solskjaer, I know it's very, very early in the season, but what Solskjaer hasn't been getting that he's been getting the past few seasons is that bailout, or they call, or some like to call the individual brilliance bailouts. It's not been on his side so far this season. And it seems like he rode that luck until the wheels have fallen off. Maybe it's a bit early for me to say and the wheels ain't fallen off yet. But we do know that this was never going to be sustainable under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with the football that they have been playing. There's absolutely no direction whatsoever.
No.
If you had watched the Leicester game yesterday, absolute schoolboy stuff, especially Harry Maguire's goal. I'm trying not to be harsh on him because I'm not going to be too harsh on him, Dec. Some are going to say that he hasn't got match fitness. In a situation like that, that's not an excuse for me. Just get rid of the fucking ball. But he should have never been on the pitch to begin with. He just started training on Thursday. Yeah. I also think that Pogba taking that free kick and playing it directly across his box was mental. I didn't make sense to me. De Gea, ever since he stepped into Manchester United, has never ever wanted the ball at his feet. And you decide to do it at Leicester with the pressing forwards that they have. Jamie Vardy, for fuck's sake. The one man who's known for being the most aggressive, annoying little bastard on your shoulder when he ain't got the ball. That's what you want to go and do. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So these are mistakes where we just say we can't take United seriously in any major competition while this man is at the helm. And it's not banter, it's a fact. That's just what it is. Before we do go, because obviously I've got another interview coming with 2 Arsenal fans, one being Kenny Ken, and obviously you know Big Nate, so stay tuned for that one. The time has come, Dec. ALISSON versus MENDY. You knew that question was going to rear its head at some point, and this was the perfect opportunity to do so after an individual world-class performance from Edouard Mendy yesterday. I will say though, Dec, 2 of the saves were right down his throat, right? And if you don't know what that means, right in front of him. One he had to tip over, another one was a reaction that he had to push away. I'm not talking about them 2. There were 2 other ones that were undeniably world-class. But can you honestly say now, Dec, that he is up there in the conversation as one of the elite goalkeepers in the world, at least?
Oh, he's putting himself there. I wouldn't swap ALISSON for him, but
that question was. Don't take that question seriously. I was just
But yeah, I know what you say. Like obviously, he's not been doing it as long. He came out of nowhere when Chelsea signed him, and ALISSON's been doing it for 3-4 years now. But he's putting himself up there. Last season, he sort of came out. He looked really good when you first signed him. Then he had a little shaky patch. And then he sort of just regained it again really quickly and finished the season strong. And he started where he left off. So it's not just this season. Obviously, if you're sort of looking at this season and that yesterday alone, it feels like a bit reactionary. But if you take a whole season and going into this season, he's definitely on the path without a doubt. And like I say, yesterday He was sensational. He's won you the game, basically. He's not even just stopped it from being a draw. He's stopped you from losing that game 2 or 3-1.
Facts. Up to sports, they counted 6 crucial saves that he had made.
Yeah,
in the game.
you don't see that. I mean, part of it you can sort of say that's a little bit worrying, which is why I've sort of said to you in the group chat, a bit of banter. I think you'll sort it out, but these kind of things aren't sustainable.
No, absolutely not. But and then you got to look at it as well, like the situation with Chelsea. Look at our centre back 3. I think our oldest one was 23, 24 years old.
Yeah.
We had Malang Sarr, who made his first full debut, and then you've got Trevor as well, who's just coming up this year. He's just graduated.
I really like as well.
He's just graduated this year. So for me, like I said it in the preview, right? The performance, I'm not too worried about that because most of our leaders have not been on the field. Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Jorginho. Those are 3 key men in our squad that we play week in, week out.
You've got more than enough to sort it out. And obviously, just look at last season with us. I'd be stupid to sit here and say, "Oh, that doesn't mean anything." Last season fell apart when our senior centre backs got injured. So to sit here and say that it was not an issue or anything like that would be stupid. So obviously you've got to turn it around, and the performances have got to improve. But
absolutely,
the players will come back, and you've got a good enough squad and a good enough manager to do that. So
absolutely. All right, then, Dec. Listen, I've got to call this interview at an end because, like I said, I've got another interview coming up right away. But we pretty much got a good 20 minutes in, man. But we've got to get Dec more here every week. I know you've been busy. You've got your home obligations, work obligations, and that. So we never hold that against you. But yeah, man, you're missed on the channel. Make sure we see more of you on the channel, man. But to everybody who has been watching, please make sure you do like, share, subscribe, and leave your thoughts down there in the comments. Dec's social media details will be down there in the description, all clickable links as well. But to everybody watching, big up yourself, man. Bless.